Hey everybody, this is Vince Miller. So glad you're joining me today. Our devotional today is from Galatians chapter 2, verses 20 through 21. It reads this way: I've been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not nullify the grace of God, for if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. You know, in this life, we are conditioned to perform from the day we're born. Is that not true? We are conditioned to comply, to behave, and to obey. And as we do, we receive rewards and trophies and accolades and promotions, right? And while this conditioning does work to make these small improvements, it may only result in behavior modification and not this deep transformation that Paul's talking about here. Now, let's recognize that behavior modification does work to some degree, right? But it might only scratch the surface of change or only give the appearance of change. And when it comes to our relationship with God, there is no behavior we can change or modify to actually be in right standing with God. Instead, Paul says we have to die, not change or improve our behavior. We actually have to crucify all our life to the point we no longer live. This infers that we recognize that there is no act of obedience that will ever save us. There is nothing we can do, but there is something Christ can do. He can live in us, in you and in me. By faith, we can choose to believe his resurrection life gives us spiritual life, so that as we live in the flesh, he lives in us. This is a new life, changed at the motivational and the spiritual level. It is a life lived in the flesh, sustained by his righteousness, not by our behavior. And then Paul drops the mic with this statement. He says this: I do not nullify the grace of God, for if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. Now, here's another way we might be able to say this here. Attempts at behavior modification in the spiritual life to earn a righteous standing with God are pointless. In fact, they confirm we do not believe in the righteousness freely extended by God's grace. Whew. So today, don't nullify the wonder of God's grace working through you by trying to earn righteousness through obedience. Yes, this is the world's way, but this is not God's way. Instead, be obedient, but act in obedience out of faith and empowered by grace. And as you do, let others see God's system of grace working through you, so they will know deeper and spiritual change. Thanks for joining me today. I want to encourage you to hit that subscribe button below so you can get notified. Also, share this post with someone you love who might need to hear about the grace of our loving God. I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.